All right, so forgive me, I had to repeat a thing or two here. We have these equations that are rational. X is approaching infinity, X is approaching negative infinity. And we end up with a graph that has asymptotes. And what do you think? Are you trying to look at the right place? If you're trying to go to infinity, I mean, where are you looking? Okay, are you looking right here? Well, you shouldn't be, because right here is not x approaching infinity. It happens to be x approaching 3. So just so you realize, that's not really part of this conversation. Are you looking out here? Well, that would be a good place to look, because as you go to the right, you're starting to go to infinity. Okay, the problem here is that the calculator is restricted to, the window is restricted to 10 to negative 10. So, that's not like real close to infinity. Now, like I said, you can't get to infinity, but maybe I could go a little closer. Maybe I could go like to x equals 100. Play around with the window. I find that people don't like it. I don't know why. It's just kind of like looking at certain x values or y values. But I'm forcing the calculator now to show me x values as I get to close to 100. Now, are you starting to see an intended height? I mean, let's take a little walk here along this graph. As I walk along the graph, my x value, again, is getting closer to 100, but I'm not really concerned about the x value. It's the y value. It's the y value. You see what number the y value, I'll say, seems to be intending to get close to? Okay, because my y value is at 2.06, now it's at 2.05. If you had to make a guess, maybe you'd say 2, and it would be the right guess. Okay, now if you're like, a guess? Well, we're just looking at the graph visually, okay? We're noticing that it looks like it's getting closer to 2, and we have some prior knowledge that there's asymptotes lurking around. So maybe there's an asymptote at 2. Okay, well, there is. There is an asymptote at 2, which makes it a little more clear that the limit as x approaches infinity of 2x minus 1 over the absolute value of x minus 3 would be 2. Okay, now again, I just told you that this was true, that there's a horizontal asymptote, but we'll talk about how to find it. Just hang in there and we'll get there. But there is a horizontal asymptote, and that makes it a little more clear that 2 would have to be my intended height, would have to be my limit. How about negative infinity? Now, is it just going to be negative 2 just because it's negative infinity? Not so fast. If you change the window, if you look kind of over to the left a little further, you can see a similar behavior. You can see the graph is intending to reach a certain height. I mean, if I trace over there, I can watch that y value as it also seems to be getting closer to a certain height, which does happen to be negative 2. Okay, but I don't want you to think that it's just the opposite because it's negative infinity. It just happens to be the opposite for this problem. But there is also a horizontal asymptote at negative 2. Now, what I want you to take before you break for lunch is that right now a limit seems to be a horizontal asymptote. And from what you know about horizontal asymptotes, those are y values. And so we seem to have something kind of brewing here. Okay. All right. We'll see you back here soon.